My first question to you is that there's an understanding here in Pakistan. Let me be very open with you on this interview because there are a series of interviews that you've given recently, right? So there's an understanding that there's some pressure at some point which you want to put on the current government in order to, do another contract with you in the lieu of, releasing your previous amount or recovering 1 billion that you have told them right now and to get your share. How would you, counter this narrative that you're not building any pressure on the government, but you're sincere with the Pakistanis?
Well, people are free to develop any narrative they want. I'm certainly not aware of any pressure to have another contract with the government of Pakistan. Frankly, from what I've learned of dealing with the governments of Pakistan in the past, it's the last thing I want. But if the government of Pakistan wants to talk to me because they now accept the credibility of what I've said as found by the judge in the High Court in London, they're free to come. I'm happy to talk to anyone who's sincere about finding the plunder, the gang rape of the assets of the Pakistani people by the plutocracy, by the thieving oligarchy that has stolen the wealth of the people of Pakistan over the last 70-something years. I'm ready to talk, but there's 198 other members of the United Nations. Most of them would like to hire the services of people who can do human rights work and find stolen assets. So Pakistan is not the only country. I feel a certain loyalty to the people of Pakistan because I've learned over the last 20 years how badly they've been treated by the kleptomanic oligarchy that has been misruling them over all these years. There is no pressure on my part on anybody. I'd be the last person to wish to foist any contract on anyone. Thank you very much. I had one contract and I saw the way it was being handled by the counterparty, which was the government of Pakistan and NAB, and the judge agreed with me. So stop this nonsense about the narrative. The narrative is a false one.
Right, you reject that. Okay, so help us understand more about the the broadsheet itself as an organization, as a company, because people here right now, they're listening to you and whatever you've been saying in different interviews. So the basic question that arises is they don't know much about broadsheet, right? So help us understand what really broadsheet is, when it was established, and what are the success stories that you guys have on your badges so people can relate that, look, this is what they've done in this entire tenure. So can you help us understand more about broadsheet?
Yes, well, I think they should read the judgment of the judge. I'm not going to sing the praises of broadsheet. Broadsheet's in liquidation, and it's a misnomer to call me the chief executive officer of the company, since the company is in liquidation thanks to the fraud that was perpetrated upon it by NAB and the government of Pakistan. And it's not my allegation, it's the finding of the court. The judge found that the government of Pakistan conspired to defraud broadsheet. It's in his judgment. It's in the last page. So I don't have to make any representations on behalf of broadsheet. The reality is broadsheet was established in good faith, along with the International Asset Recovery, the two companies that were set up in order to, one, to pursue the assets, the stolen, ill-gotten assets of Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif and his coterie, and the other one, the previous Prime Minister and the later President of Pakistan, Mrs. Bhutto, Prime Minister, and Asif Zardari as the President, and they performed so credibly that the judge said effectively that broadsheet was too effective, and that's why it threatened the interests of very powerful people.
Right.